Damn. So Elizabeth Warren finished in fourth ahead of Joe Biden in New Hampshire, but Massachusetts is her neighboring state. She was constantly projected to do well here. She had put a lot of chips into New Hampshire, and she's failed. And now she came in third in Iowa, and she came in fourth in New Hampshire. And it's not like she's polling incredibly well in South Carolina or in Nevada, the next two primary contests. And I just think this shows what happens, to cautionary tale for other more moderate progressives, I will say, right? I still think Elizabeth Warren's a progressive. Honestly, I get that the algorithm and the online cabal favors me not saying that. Bernie Sanders thinks she's a progressive. Every respected progressive journalist thinks she is. She's had some bad votes for sure, but the totality of her record, it makes her one of the most progressive senators in the country. Did she run as a progressive in the back half of her campaign? Absolutely not. And I think a lot of that has to do with the hiring of these former Obama, Kamala Harris, other similar campaigns. I don't know, she had some, I don't want to say that for sure, might have been some Hillary Clinton staffers in there too. You know, that's what happened when she went up on top, and then she started backpedaling from things like Medicare for All. And she had, at the same time as doing that, kind of created this voting coalition of the professional managerial class, of upper middle class, white New York Times readers who care about nothing else except for defeating Donald Trump, right? And they liked that she was sort of a progressive light, and that she was kind of intellectual and had all of these plans, but wasn't really a populist movement like Bernie Sanders, which scares them. But they recognize that the politics of Hillary Clinton, of the old guard of Joe Biden, is not effective, and so they're kind of we're in the middle ground there. And once they saw, and this is according to some connecting to the dots polling, once they saw that she polled really poorly against Donald Trump, much more poorly than Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, there was kind of a pullback. And then that also was parallel to her appealing to those kinds of voters, right? To moving back from a more progressive campaign and hiring these people that are antithetical to the movement. There are some really strong progressive activists on her staff, but they started being outnumbered by the wrong kinds of people. And I think you can just see that. You can see it in what happened in Iowa, you can see it in what happened in New Hampshire, and you could have seen it in her rhetoric and some of the really questionable moves that she made. So, look, I wanted to touch on that because I think her campaign is done, and it's a lot of what could have been with Elizabeth Warren.